Hello, everyone. I'm Brad Glasgow with Game Objective, and with me is Oscar Gonzalez, as always.
That's me. I'm here.
Welcome to Game Objective podcast number 4. Now, if you're watching this, you have not seen 3 yet, probably. We got to get that one up. I'm having some audio issues, like matching the audio with it. As you can see now, we have a bit of a different setup here. We are using this OBS software instead of just doing a Skype call or Google Hangouts. So we have leveled up.
Just a bit.
Yeah. It's going to get better, too. So it's going to be a process. Thank you for coming along with us on this process. We have some interesting topics to discuss today. We will be discussing a little bit about PewDiePie. I know we've covered him a couple times already, but there's some more information out there, and it looks like it's we're probably going to have some more information coming out for a while. I might have an article up about it this week. Then we're going to be discussing what's the game? Horizon Zero Dawn? Is that
That's right.
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn. And the raving reviews it's getting, whether those reviews are concentrating too much on the social justice implications of the game. So we'll see about that. And then we're going to discuss a little bit about Ben Kuchera's article, which I think it published today, about sex in Mass Effect Andromeda. And yeah, that's been also part of a trend among game journalists, and of course we're kind of game journalist critics, I would say, a little bit. So we're going to be criticizing them a little bit. So that is what is on the docket for today. Other than that, we'll see where it goes. Oscar, how's your week been?
It's been good. Our school stuff has kind of ramped up, so handling that. The big thing for our school is we're figuring out summer internships. So,
where are you applying, or are you at liberty to say?
Well, I haven't really applied a lot of places yet. I have everything ready to go. It's just a matter of whether I do more entertainment, tech, gaming side, or do I more business side? So it's kind of all mixed up right now. Like they just announced today, Marvel they have a summer intern position. I'm like, shit, I'll try for that.
Hell yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I'd see if Lucasfilm that would be nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's other internships. I mean, there's big ones, small ones. So, trying to just figure out where I could get in there and just get something going.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
I don't need it.
Yeah. Of course, are these internships paid?
Well, in New York, they have to be paid now. There was a whole thanks to Gawker.
Thanks, Gawker.
Yeah, thanks to them. They had a whole spiel.
Yeah.
Years ago, and New York now has to pay internships. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, you don't want to be a HuffPo writer doing it for the exposure.
Yeah, I gotta admit though, I mean that little credit that gives a person that has no credibility some credibility.
That is true. Yes, yes, but I bet at least half the people that you see writing on HuffPo have already written on HuffPo before. They just keep adding content and not getting paid. And of course, for most of them, that's exactly how much their work is worth.
Well, that's the thing, but that it doesn't dawn on a lot of people they're not in the know. Yeah. So that credibility happens to where people come out and they're like, hey, we have a speaker that writes for HuffPo. And as soon as you hear that, everybody should be going, oh, that's not a big deal. But because people don't know, everybody's like, "Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I know that." So, but what can you do?
Yes. Okay. So, well, my week was pretty uneventful. I had my doctor appointment, and I can now eat spicy foods again. So I'm pretty happy with that.
That's
Yeah. That was a big part of, for me especially, being told you can eat spicy foods now, that's a big deal. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay, so that's out of the way. Let's talk PewDiePie. Now, you want to go into the Game Theorist video.
Right, so...
Let me give the update on the... I have been in contact with the Wall Street Journal reporters. I have been all along here. But with one of them in particular, the other one won't respond to me. And after PewDiePie released his latest video, so he has a newer video out talking about all this stuff, where he calls the Wall Street Journal report a hit job. He says they contacted him after they contacted Maker Studios. He also points out Ben Fritz's controversial tweets that are seemingly racist jokes, So he kind of went on the offensive a little bit, somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
He attacked him, which he's well within his rights to do, and he might be right to do that too. So I reached out to the Wall Street Journal reporters. One of the things that PewDiePie said is that they went after his YouTube monetization, which,
right,
if you take out his YouTube monetization, that's it. That's curtains closed on PewDiePie.
So I kind of question that. He did mention that they contacted other sponsors, not just Disney.
Yes,
so that was interesting. But you really can't attack someone's YouTube monetization.
Yeah, that's what of course, I've been reaching out to PewDiePie, hoping to get an interview with him, just like I did with Notch, several months ago. And I haven't heard anything back yet. I'm hoping to. But that is definitely one of the big questions I have for him, is exactly how would they have pressured to get him demonetized? To him, is pressure just them reaching out to YouTube for comment? Did they talk to YouTube and say, hey, is this kind of thing, are these Nazi jokes against your monetization standards? And of course YouTube said no, or at least that's what PewDiePie said in the video, that he does not violate the standards. So is that what PewDiePie is thinking as pressure? It might be, and it where he's coming from, it very well might be.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of much else that would be behind that, because again, YouTube makes the call on this, but the only thing you can hope to do is that, I mean, if you were trying to go after someone's monetization, the only thing you would try to do is contact YouTube and say, here, like you said, do you approve of this?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess someone at YouTube may have told him that's what happened.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see. Hopefully, and I've had a lot of people retweeting me and all that stuff. Hopefully, I can get a hold of PewDiePie, and hopefully he'll give me a chance to interview him. That would be pretty huge. I doubt it though, because I don't think there's anything in it really for him to do it. I mean, he can explain himself on his YouTube channel just like he did with his latest videos. So. So that's no big, and of course when he does, he gets 14 million views or whatever. So that's probably $10,000, $50,000, whatever it is, every time he does it. So
just a bit.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of money. So we'll see. I'm going to keep trying with PewDiePie. I've sent him a couple emails so far. I've sent him several tweets. I'll keep trying. But now you saw the Game Theorist video about that, and you have a different take on that.
So the Game Theorists, it's run by a guy named, they calls themselves MatPat, and their whole gimmick is that they sort of break down little things about games and try to scientifically sort of understand certain aspects of game. Like, the common one is like, can Mario jump that high?
Yeah.
And they also branched out into another channel called Film Theorists, which is essentially the same idea. And breaking down, certain things that happen in movies and are they actually possible. Every now and then, they've talked about PewDiePie in regards to how he because he's in Sweden and he's lived in different parts of the world and he speaks English. He's able to kind of manipulate YouTube's system to where he's on the top of multiple pages in different countries, and that was from a few years ago. That was when he was the most popular, but everybody kind of wanted to know why, and that was part of why, is that he's, unlike a lot of other YouTubers that are based in the US, he was based in Europe, and he was getting to the top of the list of all these European countries. In any case, so the Field Theorists, they put out a video talking about like how to make PewDiePie funny, and they're very supportive of him, saying like, yes, he was taken out of context, that what was done was really just not good. I mean, it wasn't really just, it was a hit job, and they're trying to sort of say how he can make a good joke. And they brought up the Louis C.K. Versus Daniel Tosh jokes, rape jokes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go over this real quick. In 2006 or 2008, Louis C.K. did a joke on his special that said, rape is horrible, but if you want to have sex with someone and they don't want to, what else are you going to do? So the way he tells it and the way he frames it, people like even hardened feminists say, okay, that's a good rape joke.
Mm-hmm.
Then Daniel Tosh in 2012, there was a heckler that said rape's not funny, and he real quick said, okay, what if that'd be funny if she just got raped? So yeah. MatPat is trying to compare and contrast that and say this is how you tell an offensive joke, and his whole explanation is just really ignorant of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mentioned in the last podcast, when it comes to it, PewDiePie is not crafting a well-tuned, like perfectly formatted joke to be consumed by a random audience of people.
Right.
That's what comedians do. Comedians, they go, especially here in New York, every day, top comedians, they go to multiple clubs per night. So they get random people, they tell their jokes, and whatever doesn't work, they try to refine it to make it a little bit funnier.
Yeah.
And that's how Louis C.K. crafts these great jokes. Like he did one, there's an SNL monologue that he did that says how having sex with children must be the greatest thing ever. Why do these pedophiles keep getting caught doing it? Like, you're willing to go to jail for it, but that must mean it's the best thing ever in the world for you to go to jail for it.
Yeah.
So that is like a really offensive joke, but the way he was able to do it, and that's something that takes a long time to build to where people can still find it funny. If I were to say that joke like at a club right now, people would be like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
Yeah. Well, comedy is hard. I mean, it is hard work. Stand-up comedians, I wouldn't obviously never be able to do it for one, but it is hard work it's all about delivery. It's about your words. It's about dealing with the audience and feeling them out. It is hard work, and it's hard to get right. That's why you don't see all that many out there. Of course, you used to
Yeah.
Was it in the 80s where they had all the comedy shows all the time? Or was that in the early 90s? Or I'm old.
No,
so.
in
And
the
then
80s
it
there was a
crashed.
comic book. There was a comedy boom in the 80s. Kind of lasted through the 90s, but then it fell flat for like mid 90s to early 2000s.
Yeah. And now with Netflix,
And
of course, it's seen a bit of a resurgence. Netflix always has a few comedy specials every month.
yeah, that they have some big ones, and also podcasts.
Yes.
Podcast has been, I'd say, the most important thing to bring back comedy because, I mean, the top comedy podcasts, Joe Rogan, Mark Maron, Pete Holmes, all these comedians have their own podcasts now.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring on other comedians. They tell these great stories, and all you want to say is, hey, I want to see that guy live. And there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The stand-up comedy is hard because you're doing it in front of an audience, and you're doing it in front of an audience that, for most of the time, doesn't know you, and they're expecting you to make them laugh. And laughing is a reaction that it's a very sort of a primal reaction, and you have to do that. That's like going up on stage and having to try to scare people. It's not something that's easy, but you have to work in it day after day. In any case, the video itself, again, like a lot of articles, like there was one by a guy named Andrew Todd, the birth death movies. And these people are giving this comedic advice. Like he says, "Oh, I've been doing improv for 10 years, and this is how you do good comedy." And people are just ignoring the simple fact that PewDiePie is doing comedy for 53 million of his subscribers. A lot of those are robots, but I mean 53 million subscribers who are probably under 20, don't have a job, watch him on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
And they love his comedy that he does already. He doesn't need to spend a month coming up with a joke. All he needs to do is say something funny in his weird voice, do some clever editing, and look funny at the camera, and boom, that's he makes people laugh.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
I know, it's just
yeah.
And then that's
maybe we should start doing that.
But I mean, that's his chicken. He produces videos on a daily basis. He doesn't need to craft his jokes every day. He doesn't need to, like people are saying, whoa, he should have tested out an audience. Why test it out an audience? He's got people at home or on their phone watching him every day. That's his audience. They already love him. If he stopped making them laugh, they would start unsubbing, but they're not.
You can't argue with his success. I mean, it's obviously phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I mean
like for example,
it's like arguing against boy bands. Obviously, In Sync and that, you have criticism for them. That criticism does not matter one damn bit to their audience of screaming 13-year-old girls.
Well, I mean, my example is Dane Cook. So, you see your reaction already. But early on, obviously, when he was.
You cut out.
But then I realized, a lot of his stuff is made for college kids.
Yes.
And that's where they love him. Like we would, when I sold CDs, I would just, if anyone came in to buy his CD, it was always someone that was still obviously in college. So even though he went out there and workshopped the joke, even though he went out on a daily basis to clubs around, I think LA at the time, to see if this joke works, even though he did this on and on again and made a good joke, it doesn't work on me because I'm not his audience.
Yeah.
There's another comedian right now named Cameron Esposito, who's considered the best comedian around. She's a lesbian who talks about her wife like guys talk about their wives. And I seen her stuff. It's not that great. But then again, I'm not I'm not a married lesbian.
No?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Yeah, I know. Shame that I'm not. But that's what people are missing out on. They're giving all this comedic advice to PewDiePie. His audience thinks he's the funniest person in the world.
Yeah. At the very least, he's entertaining, and he's entertaining them enough that they subscribe and that they watch his videos, and that he brings them in, and that is entertainment. That's the business,
And people saying he should, workshop his jokes and he should work harder like Louis C.K. You're missing the point. PewDiePie is producing 10, 20 minutes of content every day, every other day. Mm-hmm. He needs to produce stuff that's funny, and he's found his formula. He's found his right gimmick. He's not going to, win any stand-up comedian awards or, sell out. Mm-hmm. Well, he may sell at Madison Square Garden if he ever tried to do stand-up, but he's not going to be looked at as the best stand-up comedian. Right. But he doesn't need to be. He just wants to make the people that support him laugh, and that's what he does.
Yeah, it seems a lot of these columns are, they want to form PewDiePie into what they want him to be, and 99% of these people aren't his audience, so... Yeah.
And they're also trying to convey some sort of expertise. Again, with the Andrew Todd thing. Yeah. I mean, the fact is, I can tell you, stand-up comedians, a lot of them do not like improv people. Mm-hmm. It's hilarious in a way, especially now, improv... Like, I know some improv people, and they're very social justice-y. Oh, yeah. When it comes to improv, like there was a whole scandal with the Upright Citizens Brigade here in New York, and they are very cliquish. They're very feminist, and it is they're not that funny. Yeah. And that's why a lot of stand-ups really hate them.
Yeah, whenever I think of improv, I think of Michael Scott on The Office. Mm-hmm. Did you watch The Office, the U.S.
Here version? And there, but I think I know which one.
Yeah, he would go to improv classes, and of course he was every time he would go to the class, he would, no matter what the scene, he would pull out a gun and shoot the other people and kill them, and of course that ends the scene, which is exactly what you don't want to do in improv, and that's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the greatest improv people, they go to SNL, but because improv, you have to pay to participate. Anyone can do it, and also it's kind of easy in a way because you're up there with a group of people coming up with funny stuff. So that's why stand-ups really look down on them. A lot of them do, not all of them, because some stand-ups did come from improv, but in general, a lot of stand-ups just don't like improv comedians. So when I see Andrew Todd say, I've been doing improv for 10 years, I just say, you really don't know anything, do you? Yeah. Especially in Australia. That's where he said, that's even worse.
Yeah. Australian improv. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything because I could probably offend our Australian viewers. I love Australia, of course. Never been there. Want to go. But there are funny people sometimes. It's a funny place.
I'll make fun of all 20 Australian improvers. I'll be happy to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So, Game Theorists got it wrong.
Game Theorists missed the points. And again, this is what happens when non-comedians talk comedy without consulting comedians.
Yes.
And again, this is also one of the aspects of comedy that comedians get annoyed with, in that people like that. There's two things that I've talked to comedians that get annoyed with. People that call themselves comedians that have only done open mics and they didn't do it for that long. Mm-hmm. Perfect example, Zoe Quinn. Another example, Lindy West. They've done open mics.
Wait, Lindy West has been a comedian?
There's a stand-up routine of her on Vimeo, and by the way, that video is a perfect example because she is killing it, but she's killing it in front of her audience. And she's
Oh
saying,
my God.
she's up there like, so yeah, I'm fat, and you hear from the crowd, woo! So like, and that's her thing. But
Oh my
because she's
God.
done that, and because other people have done open mics once in their lifetime, they put on their Twitter profile comedian. So that irks a lot of people, and also it irks people that talk about comedy that haven't done it, and they're not like, I haven't done it, but I've talked with comedians.
Mm-hmm.
I've listened to their podcasts. I've hear how they break down comedy, and I try to come from that angle of someone that studied it. But these guys, they just do this and you'll get laughs. Well, no, you can't just do that and get laughs. You can't just do a Louis C.K. joke and like, see, Louis C.K. talks about rape and it's okay.
Yeah.
No, it took a long time to get there.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
So yes, that was my spiel against the theorists.
Yeah. That's our PewDiePie segment of the day. We'll see next week what happens. I hope I can interview him. That'll be big. That'd be fun. I would, if I do get to interview him. Well, first I'd probably have to sell it off to a different site, not our site, to make some actual money. But I would try and save some for our site, maybe a little clip or something, and we'll see. So I'm going to keep trying. I want to get his version of what happened. I know some people are still posting on Twitter about they're going after the reporters quite a bit. I still think the reporters worked in a gray area where they're not technically wrong in how they conducted themselves, but boy, they certainly, I mean, you can certainly criticize them. There's a whole lot to criticize there.
I mean, anyone that's saying they're going to be sued or defamation and whatnot, there's nothing there that could get them in trouble legally.
Right.
Unethically, I could see a bit here and there.
Yeah, Joe Rogan talked to Phil DeFranco about that a little bit. Joe Rogan was saying he should sue the hell out of him. And there's no basis for a lawsuit here. It's really difficult to sue, especially to sue reporters, and especially if you're a public figure due to laws.
And especially in New York. That's what they got learned. Journalism school is that New York has the most lenient defamation laws for reporters. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the reasons why the lawsuit against the Hulk Hogan Rolling Stone, that happened in Florida, because if they try to do it here in New York, it would never go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, our next topic is it Horizon?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Mm-hmm. It is getting a whole lot of praise from a whole lot of outlets. And Ian Miles Chong wrote a column on this. I believe it was today or yesterday, one of the other, where I think he has it mostly right. He's saying that Horizon Zero Dawn is getting praise specifically because of its progressiveness and not because it's a good game.
Well, I haven't played it yet. I don't know. Yeah, that's going a little bit far, but it's getting right now. It's sitting at 88% on Metacritic.
Yep.
With 85 positive reviews, 3 mixed reviews, 0 negative reviews.
Now, I saw a clip. Boogie2988 posted a clip of Horizon Zero Dawn, which was painfully bad. It was a cutscene, I guess, where a guy is hearing voices in his head, and so the main character, Aloy, did we ever figure out how to pronounce her name? I think
still no.
Yeah. Okay. She had to decide whether he should be back with the tribe and taken care of by his sister or not, and it is the most cringeworthy dialogue, and especially the animation. But I don't know if that, I haven't played the game, so I don't even know if it made the final cut in the game or not.
Well, I mean, like I said, the whole thing, the reviews came out, and the first sort of indicator was the Engadget review, where that was leaked early, and the Engadget review said everything about the story, nothing about the gameplay, and then all the positive reviews came out on the same day last week, because that was embargo went out. And incredibly positive, but a lot of them kept focusing on the protagonists, how it's great to see a woman lead. Granted, Tomb Raider, hello, but yeah. they're going on and on about it, and an open world, and this and that, and blah, 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 blah.
And especially that it's a matriarchal society, so women lead they're the leaders. They're pretty much everything. So that seems to be important to them. I guess
you're right, and so it's just so some people were questioning it, and now, I mean, the game's coming out tomorrow. I mean, by the time this podcast is up, the game will be out. But it's interesting to see how so many people, that because of this extreme positivity, which is normally everybody gets excited for it, but the fact that it's coming from all these certain outlets that people already question their credibility, and then the wording of the reviews is all about just how, oh my god, this is great to see, and it's now makes everybody question it. And I mentioned that on the PS4 subreddit, someone posted, hey, you know what, I kind of want to get the game, but I'm kind of worried that it'll make me buy into the social justice stuff, and that thread got closed down because it got too crazy. I mean, I know I'm getting into the game tomorrow. I already have reserve. It's coming in, but this is still, it's very interesting to see, and it's funny that very few people are talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean on the website, see, obviously this is a big deal when it comes to places on Reddit that are talking about it, but no one in the news is mentioning it, and we'll see tomorrow when people start playing the game if they're being swayed by this, by this narrative, this theme of female protagonists in a matriarchal society, or if it was as good as it is and people shouldn't be worrying about it.
Yeah, we'll see. Unfortunately, I don't have a PS4, so I won't be playing it, but I'll probably watch some of the videos on it and see. But for me,
I'll let you know.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hopefully we can have you get a review up for us at some point. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, one of the things that journalists have gone on about is how they don't review a game based on the level of fun that they have in the game. I think it was this one of Leigh Alexander's pet projects where, it's not about fun, it's about what the game can do overall, artsy fartsy bullcrap. And to me, that's 99% of the game is the damn thing fun. If it is fun and it has some politics I disagree with, I'm okay with that. If they're trying to push their agenda, again, as long as it's fun, I don't care. There are a whole lot of bands, like Rage Against the Machine is I like the band. No. This is my phone ring for my mother. I think it's appropriate. So yeah, I'll turn that down.
Well, I mean, along those lines, I kind of, in a way, I get what they're saying. In a way, I disagree with what they're saying.
Yeah.
Because you're mentioning fun, and do you know who Spoonie is? Noah Antweiler?
Yeah.
So he's an asshole. But a couple of years back, when Telltale was doing The Walking Dead, Obviously, it's still going on, but I mean, he went off and just like, this is a horrible game. It's not fun, and you guys are just being depressed by this game. And I to people like him, I always say, okay, yes, games are supposed to be fun, but I view it as more of just a general term. They're supposed to be entertaining. Walking Dead is a depressing video game, but it's entertaining because it's causing emotions.
Yes.
There's nothing fun about that game.
Right.
But it's a great game.
Yes. Yeah, it's like the book 1984. It's a dreary ass book. I mean, you read it and it kind of it feels like it sucks the emotion right out of you, or it did for me anyway. But it's a classic, obviously. So, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, the Road is another example of a book that won all these awards, and it's the worst depressing book you're ever going to read. Mm-hmm. But that itself, there's these, there's that aspect where it says, well, it has to be a fun game. If not, it's not a good game. But I disagree with that because, again, Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. But I also disagree with Leigh Alexander, where for her, and for her it comes off, it's more of an elitist. It's more like that critic that she spoke with.
Yep.
That dude. Where it's like, oh my God, fun. Why have fun in a game? How juvenile.
I studied art history. Oh.
And that's dumb. Like Roger Ebert, one of the best movie critics ever, rest in peace. I mean, he went to a movie, and if it was a fun movie, that's what he wrote about. That this was a fun movie. Yep. And even if the acting was bad, or if the story was bland, it was just fun. Yeah. And and then if it was a depressing movie, but it was entertaining, he would say that. Obviously, you want games to entertain you, just like you want movies and TV shows to entertain you. But if you're saying they should do something else, then you're just a pretentious asshole.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Rocket League entertains me. It doesn't need to explain the diversity in my neighborhood. It just needs to entertain me that I get to jump around in a car and play soccer.
Yes. Yes. There is another topic that you don't know about, but I just thought of that reminded me of that I wanted to talk about was the DICE award show.
Yeah.
That was
silly enough. We totally forgot about that.
Yeah, which I can understand because God, that was a boring.
Well, also because the Oscars was last night, and that was like a big deal.
Yeah. That's how you do an award show. The DICE Awards was like a high school play trying to do that, and it didn't work. It was painful to watch. It was boring. They did not introduce people. I wrote a column. Most of you have probably read about it. They didn't introduce the people, so people would come up to accept awards for their game, and you didn't know who this person was, and they, of course, they would just, thank you, and move on. There weren't any musical acts, even though game music was awarded, and, it really makes you, I guess, appreciate Dorito Pope and his award show, which is... it's hard to admit, I guess, but his show is a million times better. And
well, there's a middle ground. I mean, the problem with Jeff Keighley's award shows was that they ham it up too much.
Yes. The Schick robot guy.
The backstage stuff. I mean, obviously that's for advertiser money, but that is, the little comedy bits, those don't work. Right. And the thing is, the DICE Awards show have been better in the past, but for whatever reason, it just stunk.
Yeah. Game Awards, my thoughts on this is Game Awards needed to stop trying to emulate Hollywood Oscars or Emmys or anything like that. Just dump that format. There's no reason really for a live show, I guess. I don't think, because these people are game developers. They're not entertainers in the traditional sense. They're not there to entertain a crowd with anything but their polygons and their gameplay and their music. So I like the Todd Howard segment where they went to his studio and talked to Bethesda and they talked about him. I mean, that was great. Yeah, it seems like gaming is such an innovative industry. It's a special industry. It needs to stop acting like it's Hollywood. That's my thought.
Well, I'm of the opposite with you there. To me, I mean, every major media has their own award night. And obviously they've been doing it for 50, 60, 80 years. Mm-hmm. So it took a while because the original Oscars was just a big dinner. Mm-hmm. And they just gave out the awards, and eventually got better and better. What's frustrating with the DICE Awards is that there are ways to put together an entertaining show. I mean, obviously production value, that's something like you could hire people to do that. I mean, it's not like the people that do the Oscars and the Grammys and so forth aren't available, or that there are people that are quality people that could do that. So obviously you can do that. And also when it comes to the whole, the back and forth, the jokes and whatnot, there are professional comedy writers that's all they do. Mm-hmm. So for a while, they had a comedian named Jay Moore.
Yes.
And he was on there, and to me, he was funny, but I would see the tweets from developers and journalists like, I don't get it. and a lot of stuff fell flat. But I mean, you don't have to get a comedian. You can get other people. You can get them to get people hired to write jokes. Mm-hmm. For the presenters. I mean, the thing is like there's I don't know if it's a matter if they don't want to spend money, or if it's just a matter of that they can't find the right formula, because unlike the Oscars, Grammys, and whatnot, like the DICE Awards have gotten more, they've gotten more tightened, they've gotten more stiff. Mm-hmm. Because again, Jay Moore, that he did it for a couple of years, and now if they try to bring him back, he would piss so many people off. So that's what I think what it is that they don't know what kind of award show that they want. They just want the Oscars of video games, but they don't want to go by the means of making the Oscars of video games. Yeah. But by getting a better production crew, by hiring someone, a proper comedian, a proper host, by getting joke writers and professional writers, they don't want to go by that. They don't want to do that. So then you're left with, trying to pretend that Jessica Chobot's funny.
Yeah.
She's not.
No, but she does look very good. I will admit that.
Oh, hey, I said if my job was to be hot in front of the screen on TV all the time, I would make sure that all my waking hours was dedicated to keeping myself hot.
Yeah. I do that, and obviously I need to work a little harder. Yeah. My biggest problem with the award show was the lack of diversity for the games. And someone tweeted to me how it seemed like they selected games based on what everyone thought is supposed to win by a formula, So obviously the online game of the year goes to Overwatch because everyone knows, Overwatch, I'm not even sure if anyone played any of the other games. They supposedly had 30,000 people vote on this. And then you get a game. Well, of course, my biggest complaint was Overwatch winning game design. Game design, which their game design is the tried and true capture points and push carts. It's Team Fortress. It's even before Team Fortress. It's been done so many times. There's nothing special about their design other than they have unique characters who with decent personalities. So character creation, give it to them. Even online play, you like the game, okay, give it to them. But design, I did not agree with that one bit.
Well, and that's where they got to come in. They got to decide, hey, do we have, in the case of Jeff Keighley's show, hey, these are the most interesting, easy to understand awards that we show, and all the rest of them are done afterwards, or we give it up to the more technical stuff, but you got to explain it.
Yeah,
in your case, you're saying game design is about gameplay, but game design could be about the aesthetics.
Yes, yeah.
Well,
they had
aesthetics.
They had character design, I think. So, which was won by Trico of The Last Guardian,
right?
Yeah, well, you were saying that's like Pikachu winning.
Right, and that could be that's just the actual character itself, like one main character. But game design could be everything, including how it looks, not how it plays.
That's true.
So, but that's what we don't know.
Well, I think, didn't they have art direction? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think Inside went for that.
Yeah.
But then again, does that include background? Does that include characters? Does that include how the animation? Because they also had an animation one.
Yes.
Which again adds to just as very convoluted. It's like if the Oscars had, all right, we have an animation category, and we also have a anime category, and then we have a Western cartoon category, and that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. It was also weird that they put together MMO and RPG as one category.
I think they do that because MMOs are kind of...
Yeah, not many new ones come out, I guess.
Yeah, because I think they used to have a best MMO category, but now the MMOs, where you find most of your MMOs is on your phone.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think they had one of those Clash Royale or one. Yeah, they had some of those nominated. For best game or some of that stuff.
Yeah, and that's where again they have to, because the industry is always changing, they got to keep up with it. The Emmys. Because TV is always changing, they have to keep up with it. That's why there's best reality show and best reality show host and stuff like that. But that didn't happen, 15 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so that's the Game Awards. If you want to find out who won in all the categories, well, it was either Uncharted 4, Overwatch, or Inside, I think. For pretty much everything. But there's
Uncharted won a good amount of awards.
Yeah, Uncharted won. Mm-hmm. Well, I think they won an equal number of awards. Uncharted was the most nominated, but Uncharted and Overwatch won the Game of the Year, but yeah, those were pretty much the only games that were awarded. So yeah, but there's a full list of awards on our website, so take a look. Okay, the last topic. we did this at our first podcast, I believe. Ben Kuchera. Say it to my face, Ben. He wrote. I have to bring this up so I make sure to get the quote correct. He wrote a column about Mass Effect Andromeda, where he is talking about the sex involved, and of course we went through this with Patricia Hernandez, who talked about how so many of the gamers want to bang this alien. And now Ben Kuchera wrote a column where he says, well, the BioWare developers said the game is basically softcore porn, and there's going to be full nudity. And of course people on my Twitter account were saying, well, you don't want to see any of these people naked. Their character design is awful. Which, I agree. But Ben Kuchera said, quote, All signs point to the fact that we're going to Sexy Town at a speed of warp 69.
I don't know about you, but that makes me laugh on the inside.
It hurts. It hurt me to read that. It physically hurt. My take on this is I almost wrote a column. I'm thinking of writing a column about it too, but I guess I could probably just say it right here. You see all these articles from Polygon. I know someone was passing around an infographic about this, where Polygon has written about games needing to mature and games needing to grow up. Well, game critics need to grow the hell up if we're going to be treating games seriously. Nudity in a game, and this was the same thing with Conan Exiles. And the game has full frontal nudity. And for guys, you can control the length of the guy thing. Mm-hmm. And several video game journalists wrote about that, and they posted videos about that, and they were just enamored with it. And of course now Ben Kuchera is talking about Warp 69 Sexy Town. I mean, grow up. You can't grow as a medium if you treat nudity as this. If you call it Sexy Town, Warp 69, you can't, the developer, of course, a lot of the people play BioWare games specifically because of relationships, and the whole romance thing. It's a huge, huge part of the game. And Ben Kuchera is talking about this fact to appeal to these people. So I could understand why he's doing it, and why the other journalists are doing it. Mm-hmm. But how are we going to tell gamers to grow up? How are we going to tell video games to grow up when we say we write articles based on some developer saying, "Oh, it's softcore porn"? I mean, so what? Okay, I do want to know. If there are good sex scenes in a game, or if it treats it maturely, or let me know about that. But do it intelligently. Don't act like it is Porky's. For those of you who are younger in our audience, of our age, who are not in our advanced years. Porky's was a movie, of course, with a whole lot of nudity, and of course a lot of those 80s movies featured a whole lot of nudity that you don't see anymore. And the way they treat the games, oh my God, there's nudity. Well, yeah, of course there's nudity in games. There should be nudity in games, just like there's nudity in movies. Games shouldn't be anything special. There's sex in books too. So, okay, talk about it maturely. Don't say, "Oh my God, boobies!" That seems to be exactly what they're doing, and to me, it is distasteful. I guess. It's certainly not my cup of tea, but maybe, as we were saying, that they're writing to an audience that I'm not reaching. That's entirely possible. I like the relationship stuff in BioWare games. That can be fun. Usually it's painfully awkward and poorly written, especially their earlier stuff. They have, like in Dragon Age Origins, they have humping in underwear, very awkward, and then in Dragon Age Inquisition, they're actually going into nudity now. So games are starting to grow up, it seems, and I would like them to go ahead. Of course, it's been in The Witcher all along, nudity. It would be very nice if in gaming, that's not a novelty, but that's just, we treat that like movies. Oh, hey, there was some nudity in it, and judge it based on its merits instead of pointing it out and say, oh my God, there's penis. Oh.
I'm looking over the article, and this kind of goes to, there are people trying to write funny that aren't funny.
Yes.
And Ben is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Now, granted, like the thing about Ben, I'm sure that's going through his mind when if he ever hears someone say that about him, is that he's gonna get people, like he retweeted someone that said, what was it? Someone retweeted, award for byline of the day goes to Ben Kuchera, and big smiley face. Granted, the guy doesn't know what a byline is because the byline is written by Ben Kuchera, so he must have been like either headline or subheadline or something along those lines. But in any case, so I'm sure Ben tickles the fancy of some people that are just as unfunny as him. But I mean, the article itself, I don't want us to sound prudish.
Yeah.
In that it's not like we don't want to see this or this is not interesting. It is. A friend of mine, she messaged me earlier about this, and I said, knowing BioWare, that just means they're going to show dicks.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that's the only difference from previously, is that they're just going to show dicks.
Yeah.
But
I should make it clear, that I said this in a tweet earlier this week too, that I want to see all this stuff in a video game. I want to see, of course, there was a thing about whose armor? Oh, and For Honor, the game For Honor does female armor right because it looks accurate, which to me is okay. It's great to have a game like that, but then don't give a game. I pointed out. There are many games. Red Sonja with her bikini chainmail, boob armor they call it. Don't give a game crap for that. If it fits in the setting, if it fits in the aesthetic, if it fits in the design of the game, it can be great. Let's see boob armor. Let's see nudity in strip clubs and Grand Theft Auto are perfectly appropriate. The mini game, a little bit awkward, I thought, but it's appropriate for the game, and I want violence. I want all of that. Throw it at us. I also want to see the ability to kill kids in games too. I point out
as
Skyrim.
You pointed out.
Yeah, in Skyrim, you have these little kids. They're always saying something stupid to you, like. My dad could kick your butt. Well, I'm the goddamn Dovahkiin. I should be able to fuzz road die that little kid across the room. I want all that. I just don't want it treated like it's the worst thing in the world at some points. And if one of the people who ideologically agree with you makes a game that has the same stuff, you shouldn't say, oh, that stuff is great, and oh, the chainmail bikini is awful. It's a huge bunch of hypocrisy in my mind.
And again, that this sort of goes back to our whole points when we were talking about sexuality and how there is there's a hypocrisy about it, and that it stems from that it's okay to like this nudity versus that nudity because of who makes it, and it's hypocritical. And what's funny is that there's people on either side that also will call you out on that as well. I mean, there's been very progressive movies that still get caught out because so-and-so character is naked. And people say, why do they have to be naked? And that's a valid point. In any case, I mean, this is just very, attempt to be funny writing by a guy who's just not humorous.
Yes.
I mean, there's just nothing that's funny about Ben Kuchera.
Well, the whole say it to my face stuff and the going after the Dick's Sporting Goods guy, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Unintentionally.
Yeah, him using his power to go against people that disagree with him, that's always funny.
Yeah.
I remember he, during the, back with the Penny Arcade Report, there was a whole story he did about like how emulators are okay.
Yes.
And there was 2 people that called him out from it, and he went after him. There was one tweet that he's pretty much, he deleted a long time ago. But it was this Boston independent game conference guy, and he basically said, "What if I come after you and write about you guys?" Yeah, that's considered. He's considered one of the best journalists.
Yeah,
that guy.
That guy. Oh, Ben. I guess I don't have anything against him personally, just because I haven't met him. I'm just not a fan of his writing,
I haven't met him either, but the fact is the guy is completely a dummy when it comes to actually covering something ethically. And he is obviously a pretentious bastard and is so proud of it that he's willing to do whatever to keep up his elitism.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I think that wraps up Game Objective podcast number 4. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. On a parting note, are you playing any games right now, Oscar?
You know what? I actually just finished Ghostbusters, the 2009 game.
Oh.
The word was that they removed it from Steam, obviously, I'm sure due to some licensing problem. And I said, well, I still have it on my computer. Just in case, I might as well beat it. And, one thing about the game, people consider it Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah.
Because it has all the original actors.
Yep.
It had and Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis actually wrote it. So the thing that sort of gets me when I was playing it, obviously they had the reboot, which was terrible. But
did you watch it?
Oh yeah, and it's terrible.
I haven't watched it yet.
Well, it's terrible. Watch it for as cheaply as possible. What annoys me is that people, when the director of whenever the director and the crew, the main actresses is this, and the director, what was his name again? Paul. It's not Paul Feig. It was Paul Feig.
Feig.
They would come on to shows and they would just be like, well, it's just Ghostbusters. And now I keep thinking, it's like, okay, if it's just Ghostbusters, why do you care so much to reboot it?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Why aren't you trying to reboot something better? Why aren't you trying to reboot The Godfather then? Yes. Or On the Waterfront or Apocalypse Now with an all-female cast? Why do you want to use Ghostbusters if it's just a goofy movie?
That's a good point.
So,
yeah. I am currently without game, I guess. I haven't really been playing much this week. I'm going to have to get
one
a new
of these
one here
days.
soon.
Yes, one of these days you're going to have to step up your gaming equipment.
Yes, I will. I need to get a video card, and when I get one, I will be... Well, you might not see me again, because I still have not yet played The Witcher 3. My backlog of games is just huge. So, but I am able to play some games, just nothing very recent. So we'll see. we'll see. I'm hoping to get something soon so I can play Mass Effect Andromeda, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, that's the podcast. This week on the website, you will hopefully finally see my full interview with this woman who is very much against gaming violence. She believes that, well, she just wrote to me today that she believes that games, killing people in games lowers your empathy. So if you're walking in a street and you see a guy slapping up a girl, in your head you register 10 points or 20 points. So that's interesting. She's a very nice woman, but very misinformed on video games, and I think it's very important to figure out why they're misinformed on video games and their process on that. So hopefully I'll get that within 2 days, Wednesday or maybe Thursday. And
all right.
I should have another column up as well. So that should be interesting. For those of you who have donated to our Patreon, thank you very much. This is now the end of the month of February. We have one more day left in the month. So you will be charged on March. And once you are buying us a bit of a new website. We're going to change the aesthetics around. We're going to be able to buy the theme. Right now we have the light version of the theme. So we're working on a new logo. We're working on new site design. You're going to see new colors. You're going to probably see a black background with white writing. So you'll see a whole lot of changes. It's going to look a whole lot better. We promise. That's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for donating to us. Thank you for supporting us. Also on the website, you'll see some Amazon ads now. If you click on those ads, they'll take you to Amazon, and if you buy a game through that link, that will come back to us, a very, very, very small percentage of your sale. So that helps us. That doesn't raise the price of the games at all. It just returns us a referral fee. So that's it for site news. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you again for joining me, Oscar. I appreciate it.
Sure.
And we're hopefully going to get some more people in here. We're going to get some guests and all that. As you see, we're starting to level up a bit, and we're going to continue to improve. So stick with us. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.